Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip board meeting. Today is March 20th, 2023, and we'll call this meeting order at 7:31 p.m. Can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Navas-Esparza is absent. Trustee Peretta?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll start with our officers' reports, starting with mine. Board, I want to keep everybody informed that apparently the Alsip Park District is doing some major renovation over on 125th and Costner, and temporarily they need to displace the Southwest Special Recreation Association, SWSRA, they're also known as, who helps folks with special needs. They're going to be displaced for the time that all the construction's taking place there, so they asked if they could use like one of our conference rooms during the day, and I said they could. So certainly I want to share it with you folks, let you know we're going to let them use the conference room to conduct business while we're here during the day and stuff then too. And it's just for basically just office duties and stuff then too that they're going to conduct during the day, as again, as a professional courtesy. Next, I had on here that last Friday was the deadline for a number of grants that we submitted. So I want to thank Chief Stasinski for helping us. Chief, you submitted the SAFER grant, and our focus with that SAFER grant was that they've got funding available for additional fire personnel, Chief.
Correct.
So that's what we pursued, was to help see if we can get some funding from the federal government, because we're growing our fire department by 3 personnel.
Correct, yeah, put in for 3 more firefighters.
Right. Next, we submitted a CDBG, that's the Community Block Development Grant, and that was the question, that's part of what we have on our agenda this evening yet too. That is going to go toward, basically we're going to do a village-wide survey to improve safe passage, where we can create more sidewalks, bike paths, and so forth. We've got a lot of areas in this town that they need to be addressed in that regard, and that's what we're using the CBDG grant for. Jeff, correct?
Invest in Cook was the pedestrian-wide study. CDBG was resurfacing of...
You're right. I stand corrected. You're right. Invest in Cook is for the safe
very
passage.
Similar
right.
grants to the county.
I'm sorry, you're exactly right. Invest in Cook was for the more safe passage, and CDBG was to resurface Kaminsky and Karloff Avenues, correct?
Correct.
Very good. And Jeff, thanks for all your help with all those yet too. Jeff Agan from Robinson Engineering. Jeff, the attorney, and I, Beth Adder, were just saying that I appreciate the language that you put in all that yet too. And I'll let Trustee Peretta speak to the fair housing rule as well too. That's something new that just came in with the CDBG now then too, right?
Yep, relatively,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, so we actually had it on our books already. I wasn't aware, we actually had the ordinance in place since 2010. We just have to activate a plan. We're going to work on that down the road then too. Okay. And first on your agendas this evening is, I had on here, was the approval of a paint-a-plug program where the community can adopt a fire hydrant within the Village of Alsip and custom paint it for adoption for up to 2 years. The program is overseen by the mayor's office with the approval of the fire and water departments to engage with the community. I gave everybody some literature on that earlier. My assistant Becky Smith was spearheading that idea to engage with the community and obviously promote art and so forth yet too. All of those, and just for anybody listening to the concept of that was not just art, it's something fun to kind of do with the community, but more importantly too was, we don't, as a village, we don't offer a lot of programs like that, and again, Becky, she focuses, my assistant Becky Smith, she focuses a lot on the integrity of our community, the look of our community, and she felt that was a nice idea. So it's up to the board to decide if they want to engage with that. All of the paint and concept ideas need to be pre-approved by my office, and certainly we want to make sure they're using the right kind of paint and everything too, so that it doesn't deteriorate or compromise the integrity of the, and especially the message that they want to share too. We want to make sure it's a positive message that goes on there. So, number 2 was the approval of a job description, starting salary and hiring of a new finance director for the village, as the current director will be leaving us on March 31st, 2023. So everyone's got that in their packets as well. Excuse me. Next, we'll go to our clerk's report. Clerk Harding.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the approval of the March 6th, 2023 board meeting minutes, approval of the February 2023 FOIA report, approval of the March 13th, 2023 committee meeting minutes, and approval of the February 2023 IDOT motor fuel tax allotment in the amount of $61,077.11. And that is all I had, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Attorney's report, we have Beth Eddard with us. Beth?
I have nothing to report this evening, Mayor.
Next, we have our engineer report. Jeff Hagan.
I was just going to mention those grants to CDBG and the Investment Cook, that an award announcement is expected in July of this year, so hopefully we'll get some good news then.
Okay, Jeff, I did sign off today on all of the Lindahl construction. That's the Rebuild Illinois money that we got, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that those roads we already spoke to. When do you think that construction is going to start?
We're looking to get a pre-construction meeting in April,
Okay.
so they'd like to get going on that pretty quick.
And somebody, one of the trustees was asking me earlier, when is the letting for redoing Costner from 123rd to 127th?
That's going to be later, so that money was programmed for next year.
Next year? And then how about the letting for the Safe Routes to School? When is,
That will be next year also.
that's next year as well, too. Okay. That's amazing. We got that last year. Everything's a couple of years out all the time yet, too. Okay. Anything else, Jeff?
We're doing manhole inspections, and the Davis Estates, kind of the western portion of that. We're about halfway done with those
Okay.
manhole inspections.
How's that going? Any issues or anything like that so far?
So far, so good. Yep, I haven't heard anything too crazy with that. So
Okay.
now we also have pre-construction meetings that'll be coming up as well for that cleaning and televising, and then also the pipelining in that same area.
In west side of Davis Estates?
Correct.
Okay. And what else are you looking for, Jeff? I know I just had something on 115th Place, but that's
Water
you're
main,
doing
that'll
the
be coming
engineer.
up.
You're doing the engineering for the water main replacement there, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And that's a little bit later in the agenda here, but yep, we're getting ready to get that out for bid as well.
Okay. And then we're going to follow that up with. Is that going to be our MFT street resurfacing to follow that and stuff then too?
Not this year, from
Okay.
what I understand. Well, when White gets back, we'll kind of dial that in a little bit more. But we're thinking, maybe Lombard area and
Okay.
Lawndale.
That's right. We were talking about that. Okay. By the way, board, just so you know, Mr. Frater came back today for at least a half a day, and looking forward to him starting back up. He's going to be released real soon and stuff yet too. We should start seeing him later part of this week.
Cool.
Okay. Next, we have the public forum. Did anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight? Nobody? Then we'll go to our standing committee reports. We'll start with Finance and IT. Trustee McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated March 10th, 2023, totaling $471,775.85. Next, I have a request for approval of a list of accounts payable dated March 20th, 2023. From the recap, General Fund, $87,484.20. Road and Bridge, $23,364.31. 2015 and 17 bond payments, $450 even. Another line for 2015 and 2017 bond payments of $450 even. Liability and workers' comp insurance, $36,921.50. Health insurance, $313,090.25. IMRF and payroll taxes, $7,669.87. Water and sewer, $27,405.84. Sanitary sewers, $7,483.75. Heritage complexes, $150,221.54, for a grand total all funds of $654,541.26. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Also, trustee, I got word today through emails that we are going to be starting the audit with BKD on April 17th.
Okay.
So, got to get in the schedule, but we are on their schedule right now then, too.
Okay, great.
Next, the Fire Committee report, trustee Murphy.
I have the approval of the Fire Prevention Bureau February 2023 monthly activity report. I have the approval of the National Fire Incident Reporting System for February 2023 monthly activity report. I have the approval for Chief Szynski to attend the 2023 Fire Department Instructors Conference from April 26th through the 28th, not to exceed the amount stated in the ordinance. I have the approval of several firefighters to attend FDIC from April 28th through the 29th, not to exceed the amount stated in the ordinance. I have the approval for firefighter Vince Cullen to attend the 2023 Midwest Hazardous Material Conference on May 5th and 6th at a cost not to exceed $500. This includes registration and one-night lodging. Firefighter Cullen is a member of our Regional Hazardous Materials team. And finally, I have the approval of a grievance settlement agreement between the Village of Alsip and the Alsip Fire Department. And that's all I have, sir.
Trustee Murphy, I'm sorry, I talked to our attorney, Mike Kankar, right before the meeting. He asked if we could pull that agreement. We wanted to talk with the union real quick, more so before we accept for approval on that, okay?
Okay.
Chief Szynski and I worked on that on Friday, and Chief Mike wants to make sure it's all good with the union before we do that.
So that's letter L on the agenda.
Yeah.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we'll go to Police and Traffic Safety. Trustee Dalzell.
I have nothing for this evening's meeting, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Public Work and Boat Launch Committee.
No report tonight, Mayor.
You know, the boat launch opens April 1st, so in about 2 weeks. Danny Trivin, can I ask Dan, are we okay? Is the boat launch ready to go and everything over there? Yeah, okay.
I heard there's a bass tournament going on.
I know they start with smelt all the time. That's always supposed to be the rule. April 1 is smelt season and stuff like that, too, so.
Bass and the Cal Sag.
Yeah.
Still can't get over that.
Next, we had the Sewer and Water Report. Trustee Nava-Esparza.
Thank you. I have approval of the authorization to advertise for bid the replacement of water main at various locations. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. So, Jeff, you were saying is that the 115th place?
Correct, and 118th place as well.
And 118th place, too?
Correct.
So that's between what? That's Karlov and Tripp, maybe? Something
Joe
like-
Ellis and Colin for 115th place, and then Tripp and Karloff for 118th place.
Very good, okay. Next, we'll have the Building and Health Report. Trustee Peretta.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Human Resource and Insurance. Trustee Murphy.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Then we'll go to our special committee reports. Start with Economic Development. Trustee Nava-Esparza.
No report, Mayor.
We'll go to, next is Village Properties. Trustee McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I have a request for approval to award the landscaping contract to the lowest bidder, Tandem Landscaping Maintenance, at a cost of $46,000 annually, and that is to cover all of the village properties. And the next, I have a request for approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving a real estate purchase and sale agreement for the property located at 3725 West 120th Place in Alsip. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. I know that the contractor keeps calling, he's pretty excited about trying to build a new house out there right away and stuff yet too, so look forward to seeing that. Next, the Ordinance Legislation Committee, Trustee Peretta.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a request for a resolution of the Village of Alsip adopting the Village of Alsip Fair Housing Action Plan of 2023. Just a quick overview of the Fair Housing Action Plan of 23. What is fair housing? Fair housing encompasses a wide range of laws, policies, and best practices to ensure quality and housing choice and encourage culturally vibrant communities. Why do we need fair housing? The federal government has several laws that cover discrimination in housing and community development. There can be no discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, and disability. This also includes the denial of participation and benefits of programs of homelessness, traditional housing, permanent supportive housing, the operation of social service organizations, public housing, voucher programs, other affordable housing programs, and community development funded facilities, etc. Why do we need a fair housing action plan? The Village of Alsip believes in fair housing and will continue to support the rights of its residents to have access to equal opportunities. The citizens of Village of Alsip shall have access to the quality of housing regardless of race, gender, religious view, familial status, or disability. Everyone will have equal proximity to high-achieving schools, employment opportunities, transportation options, banking services, grocery stores and retail, public services, and public space. The Village of Alsip will engage with public and ensure the status governing fair housing are complied with and enacted upon. We do have something in place. It's been enacted since 2010 under Article 2, Fair Housing Commission. Just a quick overview. There is created a Fair Housing Commission consisting of 3 members who shall be residents of the village, each to serve for a term of 3 years, appointed by the village president, subject to consent of the Board of Trustees. Also, the Fair Housing Review Commission shall have the following powers and duties. 1, receive and investigate complaints charging discrimination in housing, hold hearings, take sworn testimony, publish its findings, hold meetings. The village attorney is hereby designated to initiate, and receive and process any and all complaints. The village has a complaint procedure and process of a complaint followed by a response to the complaint. At any time after a complaint is filed, and determined to be constitute a violation of this code, the village attorney may petition the appropriate court for temporary relief pending final determination of the proceedings. The Fair Housing Commission will offer a hearing decision, recommend actions, allow for an appeal procedure, pursue a judicial review. Any person violating any provision of this chapter shall be fined not less than $100, not more than $750 for each violation. In addition to any fine, a violation of any provision of this chapter shall constitute grounds for the revocation of any license, permit, or business certificate issued by the village to the person found to be in violation of this chapter. Mayor Ryan, is there anything else that you would like to add to that?
No, Trustee, thanks. As you said, we had an ordinance on the books already since 2010, and part of our prerequisite now to get certain grant funding, they want to make sure that you have a fair housing action plan. We are going to, while we already have an ordinance, we will work on developing a plan moving forward. And you basically gave a philosophical overview of what's there, and we'll get a little more detail through our attorney and so forth then too. Beth Eddard was working with me on this last week, And we were told about this kind of like last minute, Jeff, with the grant process. And certainly it's great that we already had an ordinance in place. We just need to discuss the action plan that follows that yet, too. Board, any other questions on that? No? All right. Thank you very much, Trustee. Next, we'll go to our Planning and Zoning and Licenses Committee.
I have that one, Mayor. First, I have a request for approval of a list of licenses dated February 27th, 2023 through March 10th of 2023. And then next on the agenda is approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip granting a variation from Article 13 Industrial, Light Industrial I-1, Section 105, height limitations of the zoning ordinance to allow the use and development of a storage building with a height in excess of 45 feet on the property located at 11855 South Cicero Avenue, Alsip, Illinois. Mayor, on this particular one, I have a question in that we never got any recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission, so I don't know how we got to the ordinance already.
Let's see, was there something in your packet for that, too? Or
No, just the ordinance. And I went back through every packet, every set of minutes to make sure I didn't forget something. But the meeting was held on February 15th, and we have nothing at all from Planning and Zoning minutes, nothing.
Let me see if, you're right, we should at least add minutes in here then, too. Let me see if,
Because I said we have nothing in terms of the site plan, other than saying that they're going to have a building at 52 feet tall. We know nothing else about this project.
give me 1 second, let me just ask the building commissioner if he's available here real quick. All right, let's see if we get his response. All right, in the meantime, well, let's temporarily, Trustee, I'd ask that if you want to, it's up to you. Do you want to pull that until we get a response back?
Yes, sir, that would be letter R.
All right, we'll pull letter R from the agenda, and we might have that resolved in a couple of minutes. We'll see if he gets back to me. We'll go back to our agendas. Did anyone have any presentations, petitions, or communications they want to share? Did anyone wish to remove anything else from the consent agenda?
I would like to remove letter J.
I'd like to remove letter A.
A?
Yes, A is an apple.
Okay.
And Can we modify item I, please? The last sentence is a duplication of item J.
Trustee Dalzell, did you say you want to pull I?
No, if we can just modify it, it's just kind of the last sentence of item I is the...
Is letter J, yeah.
Is letter J.
Oh. Okay.
And we already have L removed, right?
Right, and Trustee McLaurin, I'll go back to the height variance. Building commissioner just sent it back to me. He says it was what we already know it was a height variance. He said they did not need anything else. He says he's going to check his emails and forward it right now, what the decision on that was yet, too. So I'll see if I have it by the time we get done.
Well, I would say, but in the meantime, though, I mean, this wasn't on the agenda for committee last week, so we didn't have an
Oh, I see what
opportunity
you're
to
saying.
address
Okay.
any of it, so
You know what? Let's leave that then. We'll talk about it next week in committee.
we can
then,
table
so,
it till
okay.
next week.
All right. All right, can I get a motion then to establish a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call number 1 to establish consent agenda. Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McGlaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Navas Barza?
Yes.
Trustee Prada?
Yes.
Motion carries to establish consent agenda.
Thank you. Can we get a motion then to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, before we do the roll item, O, approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving a real estate purchase and sale agreement for the property located at 3725 West 120th Place, Alsip, Illinois, will now be known as Ordinance 2023-03-4. Excuse me. Item P, a resolution of the Village of Alsip adopting the Village of Alsip Fair Housing Action Plan of 2023 will now be known as Resolution 2023-03-R-4. The other ones we pulled. So roll call number 2 to approve consent agenda. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McGlaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navas Barza.
Yes.
Trustee Prada.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve consent agenda.
All right, thank you. We'll go back to a couple items that were pulled. First, we'll start at the top, we'll go to letter A. This was the approval of a paint-a-plug program where the community can adopt a fire hydrant within the Village of Alsip and custom paint it for adoption for up to 2 years. The program is overseen by the mayor's office with the approval of the fire and water departments to engage with the community. Before we take any questions, was there a motion and a second to approve this the way it stands? No? Trustee Navas Barza, you pulled it. Do you have a question?
Just the comments that were made at committee regarding the program. And as I shared, I think it should be a little bit more restrictive where it would be like in commercial corridors. I've seen beautification efforts just like Oak Lawn's Acorn program. You see it on 95th Street, or I don't think I've ever seen like an acorn in front of a resident's home. So
No, this isn't just residents. This is the entire village.
But to restrict the program in commercial corridors, if their fire hydrants are on the commercial corridor, to just be there, like to limit where a fire hydrant could be painted.
So you're saying not to allow the residents and just the commercial folks?
I mean, the residents can paint it, but then to have designated areas within the village where fire hydrants would be, if we were to allow it. But then also just another point is that I just leave the fire hydrant, let it be the color that it is as
Okay.
well. So that would be my second point. So in essence, the beautification efforts that I've seen, just to clarify my first point, they're usually along commercial corridors.
Right.
And I don't see language there just restricting where someone can decide which fire hydrant they'd like to paint.
So if for an example, let's just say if McDonald's wanted to paint the fire hydrant in front of their place, they're certainly welcome to. But what was your point? I mean, are you saying if somebody else wanted to paint that instead?
I think she's saying like residents that want to do this only do the fire hydrants in commercial areas, not in residential
Well, that's what I
areas.
asked. That's what I was asking.
That's what I
originally.
was saying.
That's how
Yeah.
I'm understanding it. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's correct.
So you don't want to do the residential, it's just the commercial areas?
Just what I've seen, and I guess to clarify further, when I've seen programs like this, beautification, it is usually on commercial corridors,
Okay.
and not, let's say, like a resident's home, 11 something something Hamlin or something.
Right.
And also the second point would be that it is a fire hydrant, and for public safety, I think just leaving it as is.
Yeah, and again, with the designs and everything would be vetted by my office and the fire chief to make sure it was compliant, that we didn't paint it camouflage where nobody would see it and stuff like that yet, too, you know? And something bright and cheery. We're not going to put any negative messages on there or anything like that yet, too. But we were just making it all-inclusive to the entire village, that's all. Any other questions?
And just to add on, as we talked about last time, and the water commissioner had responded that his people would have to go back over there after the work had been completed in order to verify the fact that the threads, once painted, would allow the caps to come off, work the chains, so the chains were free, so that as the fire department would utilize the hydrant, that nothing would get in their way or delay the actions. It just seems that there's additional time to facilitate this request. I don't know how valuable it would be, but as I said before, I wasn't in favor of the idea. I think that the fire hydrants are there. The village has spent an enormous sum of money to repaint all of them, and now we're going to adopt a program to allow a 2-year, and then what of the paint? We're going to have to repaint them again. So it just seems like there's more expense here, more time away from the water department doing their duties that they're doing already. And it seems like we could do other things for the community, as the trustee had said, like with Oak Lawn, with their Acorn program and such, which certainly the community has stood behind, and the ones that I've seen are beautiful.
Dan, right now, while we paint a fire hydrant, I've seen, because actually Trustee Murphy had some overspray on his grass not too long ago, but it's like, how long does it take for our guys to paint one of those?
We set up time in painting, and then, we do more than just that. We don't maintain the hydrant. We do paint course, again, removing the rings, then painting the hydrants, then go back and reinstall the reflective rings. You're probably talking 15, 20 minutes a hydrant.
Okay.
But like you had mentioned before, I believe that they have to come out first, remove the rings, let the people paint, then come back and put the rings back on, and do all the checking to make sure that nothing is inhibited.
All right. So did anybody have a motion to approve this Paint a Plug program? No? All right, it dies. Next. Okay. Yeah, that was Roger getting back to me. We'll schedule a discussion for a U-Haul next week then. So he was off this week, and we actually had an ordinance come through, and I believe the chair from the Plan Commission brought that through, but I didn't get the residual paperwork that followed it and stuff yet, too, so.
Mayor,
That needed to come before the
I
ordinance.
just texted with Joe, so it was only supposed to be 24 foot high, and it was only supposed to store pods. So I don't know where they got it. It's over 45 feet now. That wasn't the original game plan for U-Haul.
I thought they were adding on to the top of their building.
It was supposed to be a separate warehouse for pods for 20, it's supposed to be only 24 feet tall.
Oh, the pods that
Yeah.
they do,
Yeah.
okay. All right, well, we'll set up for next week, we'll have them come in and talk about it, too, okay. Next, we had letter J, was the approval for several firefighters to attend the FDIC from April 28th through the 29th, not to exceed the amount as stated in the ordinance. Trustee McLaurin, Trustee McLaurin, you pulled that?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, first, do we have a motion and a second to approve that? No?
I'd make the motion.
Okay. Is there a second? Trustee McLaurin, do you have a question?
Well, I think the issue that I have in terms of this particular motion, Mayor, is the fact that several is not defined. We don't know where this conference is. We have no information about the conference.
It's Fire Department Instructors Conference. It's held every year in April in Indianapolis. I attend it every year. Several firefighters, there's 3 or 4 that want to go down to the trade show. It is not costing any salaries. They're just looking for one night of lodging that piggybacks onto the 2 nights that I will be there. So I will be leaving on Friday, and they'll be taking my room for Friday night into Saturday. So it's their expense for registration for the 2 days of the trade show, and all expenses, it's all theirs. So it's just a one-night room. That's it.
And like you said, Chief, there's no expense on the village's side of
No.
this thing yet.
Well,
And they're all off duty. There's nobody going on duty, so I'm not paying anybody to go there. I'm not paying anybody to cover anybody that's there.
Okay.
And this is your instructors, right?
It's anybody can go. It's for the trade show itself.
Okay.
It's all part of the conference. The conference goes from Monday through Saturday. And the trade show was from Thursday right around noon until Saturday afternoon.
And there's nobody on shift,
Nope,
and nobody's covering anybody to be on
Nope.
shift?
nope.
Okay.
All right, was there a second to trustee Dalzell's motion?
I'll second.
Apologize for the confusion.
Well, and I know, I mean, like I said, like letter I was your usual attendance at the conference.
Yeah, yeah.
Adding several people onto it.
Yeah,
something
just,
totally new.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
write it very well, and I apologize for that. So, sorry, like I said, sorry for the
agree.
confusion.
Okay, roll call number 3 to approve item J. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McGlahorn.
No.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navas Barza.
Yes.
Trustee Parada.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve item J.
All right, thank you. So we pulled letter L for future discussion, and letter R, we'll bring that case up next week in committee then, too. Did anyone have any unfinished business? Any new business?
Mayor, did you want to talk about the student government night?
I don't think, we're not going to have that probably till
It's
May.
not coming till May.
But May,
prepare
what
for
day
it.
is it? May 15th, we're going to have a student government night. I know my assistant Becky Smith reached out to District 218 high schools. She spoke with, I think, all 3 schools so far, Richards, Eisenhower, and Shepherd. And we've asked if they can, want to get some students to participate, as we do once a year. We'll draw from a hat, we'll have students participate as mayor and trustees at an actual meeting and stuff then, too. So, who knows, maybe we'll issue a bunch of liquor licenses that night or something like that. You know, we'll
Sounds
see
good.
what happens, all right?
Maybe a new casino.
Casino, that kind of thing, so,
Did you hear?
yeah.
Send a different attorney then.
Yeah, Beth, you don't want to come that night, or no? Come on. Yeah.
Come on.
Then can I get a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to adjourn this meeting. Time now is 8:09 PM. Thank you very much, folks, for joining us. Students, if you need us to sign an agenda, please come on up. We'll take care of that for you then, too, okay?